Hello everyone, this is H to the Husky here, and I'm going to be doing a quick Terran opener tutorial, and I'm just playing against a computer, so don't expect any crazy play here, but this is going to be the standard opener that I've been kind of learning and using in a lot of my Terran games when I get them as random, and as always, you can probably do a slightly better opener if you look up tutorials or look up exact build orders, but this is just kind of the one that I'm comfortable with using and talking about in this opener. So of course, first just continue to produce SCVs, making sure to set your rally point to your minerals, which I actually forgot to do there a second. I was in StarCraft 1 mindset, had it set to next to the minerals, but you always want to set directly to the minerals. Of course, take advantage of that auto mining feature in StarCraft 2 and send out your SCV at around 10 supply right when you have, well, you want to be building your 10th SCV and send out your SCV when you're at about 50 or 60 minerals to make sure you have enough time to wall in. And there should be very little delay time for your next SCV. So we're making another one already, which is going to cap us out at 11 out of 11. Now, once this gets going on, I can't see the exact numbers, but I will have the build order in the sidebar over here as close to the video that I can get. And so then I usually just leave my SCV over here to make the barracks while still continuing to make SCVs in the main, as you want to get it out as quickly as possible. And note the placement of this barracks. I'm going to show you why I put it right there instead of down below at the bottom of the ramp, or not at the bottom, but at the other side of the ramp where the supply depot is, only opposite of that. I'll talk about that in just a second. But you always want to be continually pumping SCVs. This is more of an economic build. You're not going to be cutting any SCVs to get out units super fast. And another thing I like to do is you actually don't need to get this supply depot as quickly as I do, but I do get mine around 14 simply because it allows you to continue to produce SCVs. And if you haven't been scouted yet, which this is a 4-player map, I am on Lost Temple, if you haven't been scouted yet, then go ahead and get that wall in as quickly as you possibly can. If you have been scouted, it's not as crucial if you want to get a couple more mining trips off that SCV, and then you can have your barracks SCV make that supply depot. But if this is a standard game where I'm not scouted, I like to have the SCV that made the barracks scout, and then an extra SCV come down to make the supply depot early. Now, while that was happening, once you have your barracks on the way and that supply depot started, you want to start your gas as soon as you can. Now, in this video, I did get my gas slightly delayed, but you really want to get the gas as early as you can and get your orbital command right after your barracks finishes. Now, usually what I do is I make one Marine out of the barracks, so I have something to, if there's a bunch of Zerglings attacking my wall or something like that, then I like to have one Marine there to shoot them down. It'll usually thwart away any kind of early aggression against your wall. And, of course, use your mules as soon as your orbital command is done. You want to get those going as quickly as possible. So I'm just now doing that. And the barracks now does have the add-on on the way, and the positioning of that barracks, if you see, it still makes a tight wall in here. It's really crucial because on some spawn locations you have to kind of think out your build order, or where you're going to place the buildings rather, ahead of time. Otherwise stuff's going to be all up in your base and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So I do have a tight wall in there though, and then I usually get my second barracks once my orbital command is getting close to finished, as I will have enough. And now that the add-on is done, I like to go ahead and start getting marauders. And again, you want to constantly be making supply depots. So this SCV, I like to really run them around the base, put supply depots up around the corners of my base, and it gives you vision of your entire base. It really does help out. There's no reason to put them behind your minerals or anything like that. And the placement of marauders, very important. Always put them on that cliff at the ramp if you're able to. On this map, and on most maps, there's usually a smart place to put them. And do note, my first supply depot on this map is put on the left side of my base. That's for Reapers. If my opponent is going Reapers or anything that can get over the wall really quickly, you want that supply depot there to be able to see it, because that is the most likely place they're going to hop up into your base. And so now that I have the 3 barracks completely done, I'm going to go ahead and do a reactor on one of them and another tech lab on the second one. So this one's a reactor right here on the way on this barracks, and that allows you to produce double the Marines. And a lot of people ask, does it cost the same price? Well, no, you have to pay for each Marine, but you make them twice as fast. So it's extremely powerful. And once all 3 of these barracks start producing units, so once at least one unit finishes for my 3rd barracks, that's usually about when I do my timing push and I start saving up to get the tech that I want. So I'm going to start getting my gas right around now, and then keep in mind that you do need to get stim pack at some point. I personally prefer to work on my army first, because stim pack, yes, it is extremely valuable and you do need it right away, but when I'm pushing out, I like to have as big of an army as I can, as I'm not really worried about winning the game right there, because if you rush to stim pack, I think that it kind of slows down your army size quite a bit. So I really save up for stim pack, just kind of by the normal income that I get, once it catches up past what my macroing of units is, just how fast I'm making units, then that's when I get stim packs. So once I can afford to produce mainly from all the barracks, I start the stim pack and then just set the rally points to all 3 barracks. I usually hotkey them to either 1, 2, or 3. I do prefer 2 and 3 though, usually for barracks. And set the rally point to one of the actual units so that any unit that spawns will go to where that unit is. And so, as you can see, the rally points are kind of following this army. And then this is when I usually push out, as I won't have stim pack for this push, but I do like to see just kind of what defenses they have. If it's a total noob, you'll usually just end up winning right away. If they have a lot more, you usually have enough to get back to your base safely, and you really don't need to rely on stim pack. Now, after you can continue to produce from these buildings, if your timing attack is working, just keep macroing up units non-stop and try and secure a win. If you can tell it's not going to work, cut a few marauders and start getting your factory, and I'm playing a computer by the way, and start getting your factory and then working towards the medvacs. If your push isn't working, you can just cut a couple units. But yeah, this is kind of the 3 barracks opener that I really like to do, and just constantly make supply depots. After your first barracks is done, you should really be making supply depots as soon as you can afford it. It is absolutely crucial you continue to make a lot of supply depots. There'll be one point where you're actually way ahead in supply, but trust me, you'll catch up to it once you get 3 barracks, and it's almost like having 4 barracks because you're making twice the Marines. And so supply depots are what, like 8 supply or whatever they are, and so you're getting 4 supply worth of units all the time, non-stop. So you have to be making supply depots a lot. And I think that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully it'll help some total noobs out there. Again, this is just a very basic, very standard opener. So if you're kind of a newer player, you can use this to help get you a lot of units right away, which is exactly what you want to do in StarCraft. Macro is always the most important. For those newer players out there, macro has to do with how you're managing your base, how you're producing units, and how you're managing your income. So macro, you want having good macro means that you're making a lot of units and you're effectively mining and you're getting your supply. You're not getting supply capped. So StarCraft is all about macro in the early stages. If you're just first out learning the game, don't worry about any crazy savvy micro, which is moving your units individually and controlling your army placement and all sorts of that stuff. That's what micro is. You don't want to worry about that if you're a newer player. So anyways, that was just my opening build for Terrans. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully you guys can help each other out if anyone does have questions. And that should be that. So anyways, I will see you guys next time. And I still need a Zerg tutorial. Yes, I do.